a hero, a monster whose very gaze turns men to stone, and a mirror that was the only way to survive. This is the story of Perseus and Medusa. Perseus was a son of Zeus, born to the princess Danae, but a frightening prophecy made a king afraid, and so mother and baby were sealed in a wooden chest and cast out upon the sea. The waves carried them safely to a distant island, where a kind fisherman took them in, and there Perseus grew into a brave young man. But the ruler of that island, King Polydectes, was cruel and cunning, and he wished to marry Perseus's mother against her will. To get the protective young hero out of his way, the king set Perseus a task he was sure would end him. "Bring me the head of Medusa the Gorgon," he commanded, a monster so terrible that a single look at her face would turn a living man to solid stone. For Medusa had writhing snakes for hair, and eyes no creature could meet and live. Many heroes had tried to slay her, and all of them still stood there, frozen forever in stone. Perseus had no idea how to defeat such a creature, but he swore that he would try, and so he set out alone into the unknown. He was not alone for long. The goddess Athena and the god Hermes, watching from above, chose to help the brave young hero on his way. They brought him wondrous gifts: winged sandals to fly, a cap that turned him invisible, a curved blade sharp enough to fell a monster, and a special bag to carry his prize. And most important of all, Athena gave Perseus her own shield, polished bright as a mirror, and whispered to him the secret of how it must be used. First, Perseus sought out 3 strange old gray witches who shared a single eye between them, for only they knew the way to the Gorgon's lair. Quick as a flash, Perseus snatched their shared eye and refused to return it until they revealed the secret path. Then, with their directions and his winged sandals, Perseus flew across the world to the dark island where the Gorgon slept. He landed in a garden of horrors, the stone statues of every warrior who had come before him, each one frozen in his final moment of terror. And there, among them, slept Medusa herself, the snakes upon her head hissing softly even as she dreamed. Perseus knew that one direct glance would turn him to stone, so he turned his back to her and watched only her reflection in Athena's mirror-bright shield. Looking only at the mirror, never at the monster, he crept closer and closer to the sleeping Gorgon. Then, with a single mighty stroke of his curved blade, Perseus struck. He swept the Gorgon's head into his special bag, careful never to look upon it, for even now its gaze could still turn men to stone. And in that very moment, something wondrous happened. From the fallen Medusa sprang Pegasus, a magnificent white-winged horse who soared up into the sky and away. His task complete, Perseus rose on his winged sandals and began the long flight home, the deadly head kept safe within his bag. But on his way he passed a strange and terrible sight, a beautiful princess named Andromeda, chained to a great rock at the edge of the sea. Her kingdom had angered the gods, and to save her people she had been offered up as a sacrifice to a monster of the deep. Even as Perseus watched, the water began to churn, and an enormous scaly sea monster rose from the waves, its jaws gaping wide. Without a single moment's hesitation, Perseus dove down from the sky to defend her. Back and forth they fought, the flying hero against the great beast of the sea, the waves crashing all around them. At last, Perseus drew out the one weapon that could never fail. He lifted Medusa's head high before the monster's eyes, and the great sea beast froze where it reared, turned forever into a lifeless mountain of stone, crashing down beneath the waves. Perseus broke Andromeda's chains and set her free, and the grateful princess became his beloved companion. Together they flew home, where the cruel king Polydectes still schemed against Perseus's mother. And so Perseus lifted the Gorgon's head one final time, and the wicked king and all his scheming court were turned to cold gray stone. His mother was free at last. Perseus gave Medusa's head to the goddess Athena, who set it upon her shield, and he lived on as a hero remembered forever. But high above, the winged horse Pegasus still galloped across the heavens, waiting for one more hero brave enough to ride him. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe and follow for more tales from ancient Greece. Next time, the winged horse, a young hero, and a fire-breathing monster called the Chimera.